Okay, everybody. This is Travis from Straight from the Hip. Coach is on his way. He's running a little bit late today. Going to be on here in a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and start this theme music. And we're going to start talking NFL here in just a minute.
Play the clock. Oh, you already know what it is, man. Ooh and J, they coming through. Straight, no chaser. Straight from the hip.
Straight from the hip, don't need no script, just need a microphone. My man Coach Boo gon' take you to the entertainment zone. They got the stats, the this and that to keep this show on point. And when we're done, we have some fun and rock this funky joint. So if you will, sit back and chill, give us a chance to show ya. If one of y'all would like to call, we'll talk just like we know ya. We take control, then start the roll, and then there ain't no stopping. It's time to dip straight from the hip. Hey y'all, let's get it poppin'.
Hey, everybody. It's Travis from Straight from the Hip. Coach is on his way. He got pulled into a football thing for his high school team real quick. So he's going to be coming on here in a little bit. When he pops up, I'll put him on and we'll continue with the show. But for right now, we will go ahead and get started here. We're going to be talking some NFL. We'll be running through some of these games that occurred this past week. And then when Coach gets on here, we'll talk about the Mill Creek winning the 7A state championship. So congratulations to them. But let's go ahead and get started. Thursday night football had a pretty good close game, came down to the wire over here. The Rams beat the Raiders 17-16. Baker Mayfield, brand new team, comes off and does a game-winning drive, scores with under 30 seconds to go. Pretty impressive to do that for someone that's been with the team for what, 2, 3, 4 days max. So pretty impressive. I know it was the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are all that good. I think they're kind of in a tailspin this year. I've been surprised with how bad the Raiders were this year. Coming off a playoff season last year, obviously losing in the wild card to the Bengals. But then I thought they were going to get Devontae Adams, of course, and I thought they were going to have something this year. It's been a real disappointing season for the Raiders. I don't know if it's the coaching with Josh McDaniels, had some injuries. I think they lost a few people, especially in the offensive line over the past year. So, real disappointment. I think that kind of takes them out of the playoff hunt too in the AFC. If they would have won this game, I think they had a path. But this loss really hurts them, makes them 5-8. So I don't see a 9-8 team really making the playoffs this year. You may be able to get one in the AFC, so that's going to be tough. Next up, in a snowy-filled, game, the Bills 20, Jets 12. I think we've said it on the show before. I think Josh Allen's injured. I think he's got some type of arm issue. He just doesn't look the same the last few weeks. I know he's going in the snow. It's difficult to throw in that and run the offense through that. And you do have to run the ball a little bit more. And the Jets are a good defense, obviously, one of the top 5 in the league. But Josh Allen just doesn't seem right. I don't know what's going on. Haven't been able to hear anything. No reports coming out. But I wouldn't be surprised if after this season it comes out that he's got to get some minor procedure done on his arm. He just doesn't seem to be throwing the ball the last few weeks, probably the last month, as well as he was at the beginning of the year and last year, and up through his career. So if that's the case, that's really going to hurt Buffalo when it comes to the playoffs. I still think they're going to win that division. I think they're a really good team. But I do wonder if Josh Allen is injured, how far can they go with him? Maybe win a game in the playoffs, maybe maybe make the AFC Championship game. But I think for everyone at the beginning of the year that said Buffalo may be, the team to beat in the NFL, they seem to be struggling here lately. Maybe they peaked too early. That does happen a lot. Maybe they're just getting tired towards the end of the season. We'll see what happens. But I do think they are kind of on a downhill right now. I still think, again, they're going to win the division, make the playoffs, maybe even win a wild card game, maybe even a division game. We'll see who they play. But I don't see them going to the Super Bowl, which I think would have been a lot of people's picks coming to the AFC. At the beginning or halfway through the year. One team that is not slowing down and is not regressing, but is might be the hottest team in the NFL right now, is the Cincinnati Bengals. They've won 5 in a row. 5 straight games in a row for a team that got hot last year, right around this time, and made the playoffs, won the division, and ultimately won the Super Bowl, or made it to the Super Bowl, excuse me. Should have won the Super Bowl. They're getting hot right at the right time, I think. They just beat the Browns. I know it's not the Browns, but the Browns have caused them problems. I know, I'm a Bengals fan. They've lost 5 in a row to the Browns. There's something about that team that just causes them problems. But they've won 5 in a row, and 7 out of their last 8 games. 7 out of their last 8 games they've won, which is really impressive for any team. The beginning of the season was a struggle for them. I think it was more along the lines of their offensive line just needed to gel. And I said that earlier in the season. I was not worried about their offensive line. I was not worried about the Bengals. I just think they needed some time to get going. They didn't practice in preseason, play in the preseason. They just needed some time to gel, and they've come and gelled rather quickly. Now towards the end of the season, and it's looking really good. They're running the ball spectacularly. They don't even have Joe Mixon right now for a lot of for some of these games, and Samaje Perine is looking like a monster. Joe Burrow looks like he's one of the top 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the league. He should be in the MVP discussion. I think he is. I don't think he's going to win it, but I think he should be in the MVP discussion. This is without, by the way, they won this game with no T. Higgins, no Tyler Boyd, and no Joe Mixon. So they're rolling. They're rolling. This reminds me a lot of what happened last year. This reminds me a lot. I think they're getting hot right at the right time. Do I think they're going to win the division? I think they are. Now they got a few tough games coming up, and they're tied with Baltimore right now. But they do have to play Baltimore the last week of the season. I think that's going to be it's at home. I think that game's going to depend. I think that game will define who wins the division and who goes first place the wild card. But I think the Bengals could pull it out and win that division. Baltimore's really struggling right now too, and we'll get to them later. But I really like how the Bengals are playing right now, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, they have not allowed a 300-yard passer all year, which is rather impressive for a high-powered, pro offense that the NFL is right now. To not allow a 300-yard passer all season is a really impressive stat. I didn't even know that until a few days ago. So they're going to be a handful of playoffs with the experience they got last year. So that'll be my rant on the Bengals. They're my team. I really like how they're doing right now. Next up, we got the Cowboys and there's Coach. Hey, Coach.
Travis.
Hey, how are you?
Travis, I've been listening to you in the car.
Yeah.
I can't believe you took the liberty. Well, I can't believe you took the liberty of the last 10 minutes talking about the damn Cincinnati Bengals.
I spent the last 5 minutes talking about the Bengals.
Hadn't played nobody. They beat the I'll give you this. They beat the Chiefs. But you sitting up here bragging about them beating the damn Browns with Deshaun Watson, who still has prison rust. I mean, are you kidding me? And you just going on and on about how they beat them without Mixon and without all the, seriously.
Boyd and Higgins.
Seriously. And you are and you talking about how they beat them. Number one, they should beat them, period. They should beat them all the time, let alone you talking about how, I don't know why, but there's some stumbling block for them all the time and all this. Man, oh my God. I was just in the car I almost just joined in the car on my phone. I was like, I can't even wait to get home. I'm ready to get on here so bad. That was just terrible. Terrible.
Okay.
If anybody should be bragging, it should be me. I should be bragging. I should be bragging about my team, but I'm not. Because again, I'm not satisfied. I'm just not satisfied that they're where they need to be.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to them.
Okay.
We're going to get to them. Any thoughts real quick on the other 2 games that I talked about, the Raiders and the Rams?
I didn't hear you. I didn't. As soon as I got in my car, all I heard you talking about was the Bengals.
Okay.
And it lasted the all the way home. All the way home it lasted.
It was only 5 minutes, Coach.
Well, that tells me it takes me 5 minutes to get home then, because when I first turned it on, that's what you were talking about, and I just walked in the house, and while I was logging in, You were still talking about it.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, we'll move on to what could have been one of the upsets of the year. The Cowboys just barely squeaked by the Texans. Cowboys got lucky here.
I know, but you know what? If it had been the Bengals, you would have been saying, "Hey, a win is a win.
That is true. A win is a
Just
win.
win, baby. That's just
Just
win."
win. That's
I know,
all that matters.
but see, I disagree. And like many other people have said today, as I've watched several shows about it, let them play like that in the first round of the playoffs and see if they win.
You're right.
I mean, that's the bottom line is that might fly right now, but let them try that later on. It ain't gonna happen. So I mean, I'm just telling you, Dak Prescott right now needs to really pick up his game because he looks like the weak link right now. And I know it's, some people say the reason why he looks so bad is because he doesn't have receivers. And okay, I know they went out and got what's his name from the Colts, brought him out of retirement.
T.Y. Hilton.
T.Y. Hilton. But I mean, I don't. It doesn't matter if you don't have a quarterback. Right now, he seems to be the problem. I don't know if it's that thumb is still messing with him. That he messed up earlier this year. I don't know. Yeah. But he doesn't look like he definitely don't look like a Super Bowl quarterback. I'm not even sure he is a playoff quarterback yet.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs, but yeah, I question if they're going to be able to win even a game in the playoffs. For
them to struggle against Houston,
yeah.
I mean, dude, had to have a 98-yard, and I know everybody say, oh, well, they showed they can go 98, but who you playing against? You can go 98 yards against them because a lot of those passes that Dak threw in that period were terrible. I mean, they were terrible balls. Yeah. So, like I said,
I watched the ending of the game because they switched back to it because the CBS game or the Fox game that they had was terrible, so they switched to the end of the Texans and the Cowboys game. What I don't understand is the Texans are up 3. It's 4th and goal from the 2. I'm kicking the field goal. I know if you score the touchdown, the game's over. But if you go up by 6, you force Dallas to, obviously, score a touchdown. And they ended up scoring the touchdown. But there's a lot more pressure on we have to score a touchdown compared to, we can still get a field goal and tie the game. Right? So I would have kicked the field goal and just gone up by 6.
Yeah, there's all kinds. I hate when this happens because a lot of people are going to second guess what the guy did. But if he had scored and whatnot, everybody would have just applauded him and everything. So, oh my God, that was so brilliant, for you guys going on ahead and scoring and then leaving no doubt and this and that and other, blah, 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 blah. So, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's what I feel about those decisions. Because at the end of the day, some people are like, listen, if we don't have anything to lose, so let's just go ahead and go for it. I guarantee if he asked his team, they all said, let's go for it. And that's what happens 9 times out of 10. So I just hate when that happens when a coach does that, because now he's the one who has to back it and explain it and everything else to the reporters and whatnot. When honestly, it probably wasn't even his decision. It's probably somebody else's decision.
Understandable.
So,
well, let's move on. The Lions beat the Vikings, hold them off from making the playoffs for now. By double digits. Can the Lions come in and make the playoffs, do you think?
No. I don't see them coming in doing that. That was their season, if you ask me. That win that they just did, that's the one that they'll talk about and hang their hat on for next year. Right. And all that kind of stuff. Because it was an upset, obviously. I was watching the NFL today. Randy Moss is the only one who picked him to win. And Randy Moss was very decisive about it. He said, dude, I'm telling you right now, I think they're definitely going to win this game. He wasn't just, hey, I just decided to go against the grain. No, it wasn't that. He broke it down. And he said, I'm telling you right now, the running game that they have, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he picked it clean. And he was right. And, I'm not a fan of Minnesota anyway. I can't stand the quarterback. The quarterback's terrible.
Yeah.
And he showed it the other day. He was terrible. So Kirk Cousins, you never know which version of Kirk you're going to get from day to day.
Agreed, and that's why I can't back them to do anything in the playoffs is because
Right.
of that. So,
yeah, I agree.
Let's give the Lions some credit. Like they've won 6 games when almost everyone going into the season thought they may win 4. Right? Like they're showing some fight. They're a little better than what people thought. I understand they're only 6-7, but everyone was laughing at them going into the season with Dan Campbell, and they at least have something there.
Yeah, but my thing is that are they real? Do they really have something there? I mean, the league as a whole is down. I mean, it's just bad football being played. I mean, we talked about this before. It's just some bad football that's out there being played. I mean, Tom Brady looked like trash the other day. I mean, just absolute garbage. And I mean, it's just the whole team did. And they're like, I think, still leading their division.
They are.
Because the NFC South is NFC South is trash. I mean, pure, smelly, like, weak old garbage. I mean, and it's just but the whole league is that way. I mean, look at Arizona. Arizona looks terrible. I mean, at one time they were talking about Arizona was going to be a force, in the playoffs for the Super Bowl, this, and that, and other. Now they just, especially with Kyler Murray, and they say it's almost sure it's a torn ACL.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just that there's not really a team out there. Everybody was on Buffalo early. And, Buffalo's kind of stumbled a little bit now. So it's just some bad football out there being played. Hell, you could talk about Jacksonville and say, oh, well, Jacksonville's looking pretty good, this, that. But it's just because everybody else sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody on the team, it's just like on any given Sunday, anybody can win.
Yeah.
So I'm not ready to root for that pig farmer in Detroit right yet. Be wearing overalls in the game and wearing his granddaddy's baseball cap out there on the sideline. I'm not ready to root for him just yet. I still think that they are a terrible football team. And when the NFL gets back up, hopefully next year, hopefully the owners will figure out how to make all their quarterbacks come to training camp and actually practice and do things that they need to be doing to get ready for the season. Because a lot of those guys don't come. And then when they do finally get there, now they're mad because, guys aren't catching balls and this, that, and that. Well, yeah, because your ass wasn't here to throw to them.
Yeah.
So, that's a problem that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I talked about it earlier with the Bengals. They lost their first 2 games, I think, strictly because they didn't play in the preseason to gel their offensive line. I think that's strictly the reason why they lost their first 2 games is because it took time for them to, get used to one another and this, that, and the other. And if they would have played the preseason, they could have started faster, but it is what it is. Talking about Jacksonville beating the Titans, man, the AFC South is bad too. Just like
that's what I'm telling you. Like you just said, the Titans are terrible. You still got Tannehill. Still got Derrick Henry. Yeah. Derrick Henry isn't looking like Derrick Henry this year. Don't get me wrong. He might be leading the NFL in yards. I don't know. Yeah, but he still doesn't look like Derrick Henry. Where he was just absolutely mollywopping the league and, getting everybody talking about him being the MVP. The only people out here talking about being MVP now are quarterbacks.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody's talking about the linebacker for Dallas.
Micah Parsons.
Micah Parsons, thank you. Nobody's talking about Micah Parsons this year. Everybody was saying it's either going to be Mahomes or it's going to be, some other quarterback somewhere. But I've heard about 3 or 4 quarterbacks up, but that's about it.
No, I agree. And Tennessee, as long as Ryan Tannehill's that team's quarterback, they're never going to do anything in the playoffs. They may win the division. Congratulations. That division's down.
Yeah.
Has been for years. Once they get to the playoffs, they're not going to be able to do anything.
They're terrible.
If Derrick Henry has one bad game, they're going to lose in the playoffs straight out. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Eagles beat the Giants, and beat them pretty handily, 48-22.
Yeah.
The NFC is the Eagles to lose, is it not? Like it's them, and then
I don't know, because I mean the thing about it is that there are some scary teams out there. San Francisco being one of them too.
Agreed.
There's some scary teams out there that on any given Sunday, I mean, the kid from San Francisco the other day, I mean, made them look like, hell beaters. I mean, they were dang throwing the ball around, running everywhere. Debo got hurt. They're saying he'll be back, but I mean, other than that team, I can see that team giving Philly all they want.
Yeah.
I mean, it just depends on the day.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think Philadelphia, the 49ers, I think may be the only team. We just talked about Dallas, and we're not really trusting in Dak.
No, I agree.
I like their defense. Dallas's defense can keep them in there and make it close. But how much do we trust Dak in that offense?
Right. I'm just saying on any given Saturday though, or Sunday.
Yeah.
Because they play games Saturday now, but on any given Saturday or Sunday, it could be. I mean, I'm just telling you.
No, I hear you. I hear you. But yeah, I think the Eagles are they're a dangerous team, and there's a reason why they're the best team in the league right now. 12-1. That defense is loaded. They got playmakers at every field. So.
Hey, Miss Peavy in Cabo San Lucas. I saw y'all on Facebook. Congratulations. I'm glad y'all are there enjoying yourselves. And hello. And ask Mr. Peavy how the Falcons did this week. I know they were off this week, but anyway.
They didn't lose.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for as a Falcon fan.
Exactly.
That's all you can hope for is you didn't lose. You'll take a tie in a minute. You would love to be 5-5-6 or whatever. You would love for that to be. Oh, that's too many. Y'all take a 5-5-5.
Yeah,
hey, y'all take that. Yeah, sure would. Sure would.
Talking about another team that just can't seem to win right now is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Losing to the Baltimore Ravens and a third-string quarterback.
Will they fire Mike Tomlin? I mean, that's, I think, the question everybody's asking.
Yeah.
It's like, will they fire him? I mean, because they don't fire a coach. Normally, they just let him ride off into the sunset. But, I mean, if this continues, because they look really, really bad right now. And the bottom line is they don't have a quarterback. I mean, this is the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger is now going to haunt them for probably a decade.
Yeah, because you drafted Mitch Trubisky in the first round, so you got to at least roll with him not only this year and the next year to see what you got. Probably the next year after that, if he shows any type of ability to do anything, right? Sorry, Kenny Pickett, not Mitch Trubisky. Kenny Pickett.
I was about to say, but I'm going to tell you this too, but Kenny Pickett. I disagree totally. Dude, I mean, and that's what bothers me about a lot of these teams. Just go ahead and cut your losses now. You know he's not good.
I know.
And once you decide that, to hell with what anybody says. Say, guys, we made a mistake. He's not what we thought he was. The bottom line is we're moving on. And then trade him. Find some sucker out there. That hillbilly in Detroit, he'll probably get him. I mean, find a sucker out there who wants him and get you a trade for some picks and just keep it moving. I mean, pay him off. You're going to have to pay him. But, I mean, just keep moving. Because if you don't, it's going to be like you just said. You'll spend a decade, trying to fix this, and it's just going to be in futility. And nobody's going to want to hear about it because they're going to be like, we should have just got rid of them a long time ago.
No, I hear you. I think they'll stick with him for at least one more year. And Tomlin, I don't think he goes this year. Again, I think he's built up a lot of faith on the team. In Pittsburgh, he's had a lot of winning seasons.
I know. Well, he's never had a losing season.
This will be his first one.
Yeah.
If they lose one more game, they're gonna have a losing season, and I think they're gonna lose at least one more game. So I don't think he's gone, but I think if they have a bad season again next year, I think he could be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
So, but Baltimore, real quick, down to your third string quarterback, and you still win. Like that defense showed up on Sunday.
Again, look at the league. Just look at the league, like you just said. Pittsburgh's down. I mean, everybody in that league is down. I mean, except Cincinnati. Everybody else in that league is down. I mean, that division is down. Everybody's down. And I mean, the Browns, hell, they had Deshaun Watson out there. Like I said, I mean, what can you expect from Deshaun Watson after not playing football for 2 years?
Yeah. I
mean, give me a break. Nope. So, yeah, I mean, I could see them, I did expect more out of them. And they've shown some glimpses of being a good team from time to time. But I think they got a lot of people hurt right now. I know for a little while the running back was hurt. And he's a big part of what they do.
Yeah.
I mean, running the football is important to them. And he's normally pretty good, but, I mean, is he a rookie? Isn't he a rookie?
J.K. Dobbins?
No. I'm talking about Pittsburgh.
Najee Harris?
Najee Harris.
Second year.
Second year? Yeah, second year. But I like him, and he's good. But it seems like about every third time he gets tackled, he gets up slow.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I expected a lot. I expected Najee Harris to have a really good season this year, and he's gotten injured. He got injured before the season started, and he's never been able to really get healthy.
Right.
That's never good. Next, Kansas City beats the lowly, terrible Broncos. Once Russell Wilson came out of the game, they put in Brett Rippon. They started scoring touchdowns. Would you keep Brett Rippon, or would you keep put Russell Wilson back in?
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, in my opinion, I mean, they know they're not going to the playoffs or anything like that. And, to me, you better start trying to see if Russell Wilson can play and see if he still got it. If he still got the desire, if he still got the skill set. Because some of the balls I see him throw looks like, I don't know what kind of air they had in Seattle, but it is apparently different in Denver. Because his ass looks like he ain't throw the ball on a line for 15 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and if he has, decayed that badly, then you need to just move on. Again, cut your losses.
I agree. I find it difficult to believe, though, that he went from a top 5 or 10 quarterback in 1 year, in one offseason, to losing his starting job halfway through that season. Like, I just don't see how he can be that bad, that quickly, that bad.
A lot of it has to do right up here. You remember the Knobloch guy played for the Yankees?
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Knobloch.
Chuck Knobloch.
Remember how he forgot how to throw the ball? He just lost it in his head. He was a second baseman, and he could not throw the ball from second to first anymore. Like, balls would be hit to him, and every time he tried to throw the ball over there, something happened. Something snapped in his brain and made it where he couldn't throw the ball anymore. And I think that's what's going on with Russell Wilson. He doesn't even look and act like the same person.
No, he doesn't.
Like when he's on that microphone, he seems like he's nervous and everything. I think something just snapped in his brain. He just lost it. Now, I don't know what exactly that it is, but whatever it is, I think he lost it.
You may be right, yeah, because I would have never thought they'd be 3-10 right now.
Oh, I know. I mean, there were people talking about them going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Winning their division easily.
here's another thing that happened. These things happen during the game, but so we're in that.
Next up, we have your team, the 49ers, beating Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, putting a beat down on them 35-7.
Trash. So here's the difference between you and I. You would talk about this for like the next 10 minutes easily about how everybody's gelling and everything is great. And you know, you scored 49 points or whatever the case may be.
35.
Me on the other hand, I'm still complaining we don't have a quarterback. I mean, yeah, just because this guy comes in and pulls a couple of passes out of his ass and all that other stuff, that that doesn't make me a believer at all. Jimmy G's gone. You know, I mean, they're saying now he might be coming back, which again is the worst thing that could possibly happen to them is for him to come back. So leave me Purdy in there for the rest of the year if it's me coaching the team. I think he's deserved to finish the year out and you know, let's see what he does. But at the end of the day, putting Jimmy G back in there or anything like that to me is totally absurd. Trey Lance, I mean, just leave him out. You've got a nightmare at the quarterback position right now because for whatever reason, everybody loves Jimmy G. Everybody loves Jimmy G. And so if you throw him in the trash can or if you do anything like that to him, he don't want that. I mean, nobody wants that. So it's like I said, I mean, the public will go wild if you do that. They might boycott and whatnot. The players will go wild because the players love it. So, you know, it's like I said, I mean, San Francisco has a very serious problem, you know, with what to do with Jimmy G. And you can't just trade him away. You can't just go out there and just trade him anywhere. So I think but I think they need to be thinking about an exit plan for him because they ain't gonna win no Super Bowl. I mean, the team's playing well, all that, but they ain't gonna win. You ain't gonna win no Super Bowl with Jimmy G.
Okay. I was impressed with Brock Purdy for a first start. Right, 3 touchdowns is nothing to scoff at. He made some good throws, but I want to see, 2-3 weeks from now when teams have some tape.
Yep, figure him out.
And they're doing multiple blitzes and multiple defenses on him, right?
I agree.
So we'll see. I'm not on the Brock Purdy train. He had a good game. I'm not taking anything away from him. I think he's a fine quarterback, but I want to see 2 or 3 weeks from now and see what it looks like. Let's see what happens if he is the quarterback in the playoffs.
Yeah,
let's see what happens.
You got no argument for me. I like to say I'm not a fan at all.
I understand. The Panthers beat the Seahawks in what I would call another, mild upset this week. And boy, the Seahawks struggling right now. They were the it team at the beginning of the month.
I know.
Beginning of the year, right?
Not to me. I told everybody when they were talking about that, I said, y'all are gonna put all your ducks in a row or put all your coins in a bag or whatever with Geno Smith as your quarterback. Good luck with that. I mean, and he was doing well at the time, and I saluted him and everything else. But again, did I put faith in him? Nope. And I mean, I just don't do that with any of these young guys who hadn't been in the league, and they've been in, went to back up, now they're resurfacing and all that. Ain't gonna get nothing from me. Now until you give me about 2 or 3 seasons, a good body of work to show me that it's not a fluke.
Right.
Because a lot of times, I think more times than not, it's flukes. Because you got guys out there throwing balls, but it's just guys out there making great catches.
Yeah.
And making you look good. I want to see you go out there and fit some in some places that, only the dudes can fit them into. And I hadn't seen that from a lot of quarterbacks, especially younger guys. Now they're going all rah-rah and gaga over the quarterback from the Chargers again. And they're going all gaga over the Lions quarterback now. And, and now they act like they're the king of the walk when they were trash yesterday. or Saturday. Now they had a decent game Sunday, and now everybody like, ooh, such and such looks so good. Dude, he had one. It's one day. He had one game where he looked good, and now y'all ready to sainthood, give him sainthood and whatnot, and it's ridiculous to me.
No, I agree. And we're about to talk about the Chargers and Justin Herbert. I got a few things to say on him, but we'll finish up the Panthers and the Seahawks real quick. I think the Seahawks are going to be that team that halfway through the season, people were really high on, and I think they're going to make some playoffs.
I do too.
I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, and I think they're going to have a crash at the end of the season, and you're going to sit back and you go, "What happened to this team?"
Yeah.
Right? Because after the season they had like 2 losses, and everyone penciled them in to at least make the playoffs, if not win that division. And now they're 2 games behind the 49ers right now, and they play the 49ers next week.
Yeah.
So they lose that game, you're 4 games back because you already lost to the 49ers already. So
yeah, I can definitely see them losing. No doubt.
Yeah. Next, Sunday Night Football, the Dolphins and the Chargers. You brought up Justin Herbert. I'm still not a believer in this guy. I think he's a good quarterback, but I saw an article that said that Justin Herbert should be in the discussion for best quarterback in the NFL, and I just can't do it when your team's 7-6.
Dude, I told you know how I feel about these young quarterbacks. If they hadn't been in for a good, I'll even shorten it to 3 years. Give me 3 years. Just give me 3. Everybody wants to give these guys all the glory when they've been in here for 1, maybe 2 years. I mean, give me at least 3 before I give you any kind of credence.
Right.
Or talk about any kind of longevity with you. I need 3 years minimum.
Oh, I understand. Jason and I had a discussion earlier this year. We were talking about Justin Herbert, and I said one of the biggest problems that I have with him, and Jason agreed, is he's still never made the playoffs. How can you be one of the best quarterbacks in the league and not make the playoffs in the NFL? I know Patrick Mahomes is in your division, but you could have at least made the wild card.
Well, it's all about your numbers, though. They look at the numbers. So they're saying, well, he threw for 5,000 yards. He had a 60-some-odd% completion. And, all that old baloney that makes me say numbers always lie.
40 touchdowns and 12
interceptions.
Yeah.
20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, whatever. I mean, some great interception touchdown ratio. I mean, that's what I'm saying is that people want to look at all that stuff. And they're saying, we said, well, the team didn't make the playoffs. Then their argument is, okay, well, he can't do it all by himself. I mean, they got to get a better defense, and they got to get a better this or better that or whatever. But at the end of the day, is he propelling his team to victories?
Right.
A lot of these other guys, like Jalen Hurts, he is propelling his team to victories. That's why they are winning right now, because he has a lot to do with that. The way he's running the ball, the way he's getting rid of the ball, the way, getting the ball out fast enough, obviously the throws that he's making, all of that stuff. So, and I mean, you can't have somebody just walk in off the street from college and do that.
Yeah.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
No, I agree. He can make all the throws, right? And he's 6'7". He's got the perfect NFL quarterback body. But he barely has a winning record right now. And I just until he makes the playoffs, I can't put him in the upper echelon of quarterbacks right now. I'm sorry. Just can't do it.
You're not going to get an argument from me because he won't be there for me.
Oh, I know. Last but not least, what could have been a good Monday Night Football game, I turned it off after the 3rd play when Kyler Murray tore his ACL, but the Patriots beat the Cardinals. I thought that might have been a good game. But once he was done, I turned that game off.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of either team.
Right.
They look like both teams look bad to me. That offense for New England is tough to watch.
Yes.
Tough to watch. And now you see why I said if we drafted Matt Jones to the 49ers, I was done. I was done if they were going to draft Matt Jones to the 49ers. I was like, dude, because he's terrible. And I'll be interested in seeing how long he stays in New England. Because I don't think, especially after Tom Brady and what happened with him and Brady, I don't think Belichick has any kind of commitment or any kind of need or like or whatever for a damn quarterback.
Yeah.
So if they can trade him and put his ass out there for trade bait and get a couple draft picks and whatnot, look out. Here he comes. Because he ain't gonna win them no Super Bowl, I can promise you that.
I don't know. There's no. He's not winning them a division, let alone a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs this year.
They will.
I read somewhere that watch out, Jimmy Garoppolo goes back to the Patriots after this year.
So?
And I could see that.
I know, but so?
I can see that going. I'm just saying that I think the Patriots could give up on Matt Jones.
What are you gonna do with him? What are you gonna do with Mac Jones? Just cut him, just release him?
Yeah. The Patriots are the one team that would do that. They would just say bye, see ya. You don't want
my point is you're saying that all these other teams can't do it because they got to try him for another year, give him another year, do this, do that. And then with this team, you're saying just cut him, just let him go. I say that all the time. Just if it were me, that's what I would do.
Yep.
We were talking about some team earlier. You were like, no, they got to at least keep him around for a couple more years. Man, shit, get out. If it was me, that's what it would be. I'd be like, dude, it ain't working. I can tell you right now. I got a genie in my bottle at home. She came and told me that you ain't be worth a shit in 3 years, just like you are right now. So we just gonna go ahead and just cut the ties.
Okay.
Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. We'll go ahead and keep it moving. We'll go to high school football. Got a local team that we all know won the 7A state championship this past weekend.
Mill Creek. I saw Josh Lovely, the head coach, last night at FBU practice. They're a good team. They were a phenomenal team. They set a record, state record, for scoring 70 points in the championship game.
Yeah, I watched the game. And I was like, "Oh my goodness, they're not getting stopped."
I turned over to it. It was 49-21 when I turned over there. I didn't turn back. I was like, I'm done. I'm not even gonna watch this. I see straight where this was going. It wasn't even halftime yet.
Yeah,
and it was 49-21. So I could tell I didn't have to, see anything else. I was done. And congratulations, Caleb Downs is the man. He's in Alabama now, and he was a man child out there from what I heard. Mm-hmm. And it was a great game for Mill Creek, obviously.
So, I agree. I did watch parts of it, and they just they weren't getting stopped.
Yep. I want to use our platform to talk about something, Travis, real quick.
Go for it.
I want to talk about Deion Sanders. Okay. Why is it that everybody's giving him such a hard time for leaving Jackson State and calling him a sellout or calling him this or that or whatever? I mean, what are your feelings about that, Travis?
I think the reason people are calling him a sellout is because obviously he goes to Jackson State, a HBCU school that probably the average person had never heard of, period, before 2 or 3 years ago, whenever he took that job, right?
3 years ago.
3 years ago, okay.
Yep.
I'd never heard of Jackson State before he went there. No offense to Jackson State, just never heard of it. And he uses his platform as Deion Sanders, famous, football player, all that stuff. Gets a lot of attention over there, both nationally, social media, commercials, all that stuff. And I feel like it was like I think a lot of people were like, okay, good for him. You know, he's helping out a school, HBCU. No one's really ever heard of it. They're making some money, right? They're
Mhm.
making some changes, and he had
Right.
come out and said that he wanted to promote HBCU
Right.
and do all this.
And he did.
And I'm not just he did.
Got him TV rights with a network, so they actually show their games on TV now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then but then all of a sudden he gets the first job offer to go to a bigger school.
And the first job offer.
He gets a job offer to
Mhm.
go to a bigger school, and he just kind of dips out and leaves.
Yeah. But I mean, the bottom line is that if what if those kids got an offer to go to Notre Dame? Would you fault them if they took an offer to go to Notre Dame?
Not at all. And
If they
I don't fault Dion for what he did. I
I
don't
know.
fault him.
But I'm just saying, I mean, it's I don't get it. He did, like you just said, he is Deion Sanders. He is primetime. Social media. I mean, he has more stuff on social media before he ever went to Jackson State. I mean, he talks on social media every day. And guess what? People listen, people watch, people love, people abhor, whatever the case may be, he says. But nonetheless, he's always in the spotlight.
Yeah.
So it's not like he needed Jackson State to make him. He made Jackson State. Like you say, you didn't even heard of Jackson State before him.
Absolutely.
So all he did was good. Everything he did was good. Here's my problem. I don't know why it is that black people feel like other black people have to be a martyr or have to fall down on some sword or like Deion needs to spend the rest of his life there at Jackson State and they're going to make a movie about him, about how he turned down all these other great offers just to stay at Jackson State. Why? He don't have to do that. I mean, nobody said anything about Nick Saban. You know how many places Nick Saban has left and left them cold to go somewhere else? I mean, Nick Saban was a damn college coach and left to go to play coaching the pros for a year or two.
Yep.
I mean, nobody said anything about. Did you anybody say anything about? Oh, Nick Saban shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have done that to Mississippi State, Michigan State, or any other places that he coached at. Nobody said a word.
Yeah.
But now because Deion Sanders does it, everybody has some kind of problem. He's a sellout. He's a this. He's a that. Blah 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 blah. He did nothing but lift up and elevate HBCUs and specifically that one while he was there.
Right.
So now, if I'm able to take my show on the road and go to a place that has more resources and has more things in, I'm in a bigger conference, all that stuff now, where I can actually get out here and put people on blast about coaches that I have on my staff that should be coaching somewhere else, you know, and should be getting opportunities as head coaches other places and whatnot. Let him do his thing. I don't know why it is everybody acts like, see, he's wrong. He should have gone back. He needs to go back down there. Why? Why? I mean, he has aspirations just like anybody else has. And if one of his aspirations is to be a Power 5, you know, a head coach or whatever, let him do it. That's what he wants to do. Why can't he do that? Why does he have to follow your plan, which is stay down there at Jackson State? I mean, his record is 27-5. And if he stays there, his record will be 127-5. Whenever he plays another 100 games. I mean, the bottom line is that he's got it. He's got it. And everybody wants it, but everybody can't have it. And it's just a bunch of haters. Because you mad at him because he decided to go do something other than be a martyr down there and get his teeth kicked in and make very little money and just rot away, you know, in a wheelchair and letting him drive around in a damn wheelchair out there on the football. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man, let that man go do his thing.
I agree. I agree.
I just had to say that because I haven't even talked about it with anybody else, but every time I see them talking about this and I read and all this stuff, all these things people are saying, it's just a crying shame.
Hey, Big Earl. What I wanted to bring up real quick, get your guys' thoughts on. He obviously had his press conference, right? And I don't know if this what I thought about this. Kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but he automatically just says, "Okay, the starting quarterback for Colorado is going to be my son," and I'm just like that's probably not the best look. He may be the best quarterback that they have on the depth chart, but at least go through like the training camp or something before you do that, because it really shows some favoritism in my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Let
me ask you this. If I was coming in to be the head coach of the 49ers, would I not bring in, say if I knew my son and whatnot and what he can do, and I know about Jimmy G and all the rest of them jokers, could I not come and say, my son's going to be the quarterback? Because I already know what Jimmy G, I already know what Trey Lance, I already know what Brock Purdy, I already know what they got. And I know what my son has. I know everybody else knows what my son has. So he's going to be the starting quarterback. Why can't I do that?
I get it, but I think it's the optics of it, right? They haven't had one practice. You can't even say that you've seen your son and the other quarterbacks on the depth chart even practice against each other to viably say, okay, my son's better off of one practice.
Right.
You just automatically name your son the starter. And what happens when he has a bad game? What happens when he has a bad game? Because it's going to happen. Every quarterback has a bad game. I'm not saying, but I think he's going to get a lot of heat for that.
I don't necessarily think that it's a bad thing based on, like I said again, when you look at the knowledge. I mean, at the end of the day, all those quarterbacks that are at Colorado have been there and they're trash. I mean, I'm not talking about the quarterback. I'm talking about the team. So, I mean, obviously, there's an inability for them to lead them to where they need to go. So it's time to try something else. What do you think, Herb?
Bottom line is the quarterbacks they got is 1-11.
Thank you.
That's what you got, and then all of them transferred out from what I heard. So
I was if I was on that team, I would not. If I, especially for quarterback, I would have left after I heard that. I would have said, "There's no way I'm leaving."
I know.
You already said, "Jump in." I got my luggage.
Exactly. Louis.
Right.
Louis, he got his Louis luggage with him. Let me say this too. At the end of the day, they say that there are over 10,000 people in the transfer portal now. 10,000 people. I mean,
yeah.
Do you think Deion Sanders is worried about those three guys who jumped in the transfer portal? I mean, I guarantee he's like, that's just a relief for me. Because that just leaves guys I'm not going to have to cut from around here and do that. Because I know everybody thinks that you get a 4-year ride. No, you don't. They renew your scholarship annually. So the bottom line is that if you're not producing, they're not paying. It's that simple.
Yeah. It looked like with all the guys coming in too, he already got a lot of guys switching schools already coming to Colorado.
I know. Ain't no doubt.
Yep.
Ain't no doubt.
So look out, Pac-12. I know he's not going to do much damage this year coming up, but the year after,
oh, it's going to be ugly.
It's going to be very interesting.
It's going to be very interesting. Yep. Very interesting. Real quick, y'all heard Mike Leach died today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mississippi State's head coach. I was trying to, I know Travis will figure this out. Have there ever been, when was the last time that a Power 5 coach died during the season? I'm not talking about like I'm talking about one who was an active coach died. Can you, I mean, I can't even figure out when that last time that happened. I was sitting up there asking myself today, like, has this ever happened before? I mean, this is crazy. You know, like Bear Bryant died, but Bear Bryant already retired, all that. I'm talking about a Power 5 coach dying. I mean, that's crazy to me.
Because I was about to say Paterno, but that happened after the season.
Yeah, but Paterno, they'd already fired him anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm talking about a guy who was an active coach dying.
I'm pretty sure it happened, but for sure we can't think of anything, especially in the last 20 years.
That's what I'm saying. I was just like, when was the last time this happened? Because I was surprised somebody else didn't make light of that or make it a point to talk about that. I mean, I'm not sure how I would feel if the coach that was coaching me last week is dead. I mean, died.
Yeah.
I just think that was interesting. And you know, I always like Mike Leach, just because he was quirky, and he was a little contrary. He you know, used to get on reporters' asses, kind of like Saban does, but you know, he was always the man had like 3 degrees, one of them being a law degree, and but very, very intelligent man. Never played football.
Yep.
And but knew a whole lot about the game, and you know, started the whole air raid offense and all that stuff. So, you know, rest in peace, big fella.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Sorry for the late arrival, y'all. I just got finished my basketball game.
I was late too. Wait till you go back and watch Travis at the beginning of this show, showing his ass talking about the Bengals.
Oh,
I mean, yeah, he spent at least 15 minutes talking about the Bengals.
It was not. First, you said 10. It was
At least.
5 minutes.
Or at least 15.
You got on here at 8:11.
Yeah.
You got on here at 8:11.
Herb, I got in my car. I got in my car and drove as fast as I could. When I ran a couple people off the road trying to get his ass off from him. And he just going on and on and on. He's like, well, you know what? I have been using all of my talent that I have to evaluate this season. And there's really only one thing you can really look at as far as what the best team is out there right now, the team that's really hot. And this guy, I'm thinking, yeah, go on, talk about the Philadelphia. He said, and it's definitely the Cincinnati Bengals. I said, oh my God. I said, oh no, he did not. Wherever I said, I put it on the floor, 10 toes down. I had both feet on the gas pedal. I'm like, you have got to fucking be kidding me. Excuse my language.
Holy quite like that. Hey, I gotta represent my team. They always.
Hey, I can't say nothing else. My team did good and we didn't play.
Yeah, that same thing with the Falcons. Falcons were off this week, so everybody's happy they didn't lose.
We moved up 2 spots and we didn't play.
Yep. The Falcons got Desmond Ridder going to be their starter for the rest of the year.
Oh, Miss Curry going to be happy about that?
What is that going to do?
It's going to make everybody happy until they lose.
Well, they're going to lose. I mean, we know they're going to lose.
And apparently Marcus Mariota's pissed off enough that he has apparently left a team meeting, and they don't know if he's on the team anymore.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like I said, how immature is that?
Yep.
Hey, that's the guy that they was looking at as a top 2 quarterback in free agency last year.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And
he's terrible. I mean, he's got to know he's terrible.
Nah, he got that free agency money.
I hear you.
That's all that.
All right, guys, it's 9:02. We got to get out of here.
Yep.
So, Travis, thank you for holding down the ship.
No problem.
Until we could get here. Irv, I appreciate you coming in on the end of this thing.
Absolutely.
And offering up your thoughts.
I'll be in next week.
Irv, we got to get into some basketball too, because it's about that time.
As long as it ain't about my team, because I'm tired of blowing everybody out right now.
Who's your team?
My team I'm coaching right now.
Oh, you talking about the team? Okay, you blowing people out?
Yeah, we won today. JV won 50-3, varsity won 80-1.
Yeah, that says y'all ain't playing nobody. Sound like Cincinnati. You gonna sit up here and do the funky chicken like Travis did about his team?
No,
he's bragging about them beating the Deshaun Watson led Cleveland Brown football team.
Hey, I would.
Deshaun Watson still got prison rust all over him. The man hadn't played. The man ain't been on the football field in 2 years.
And we beat the Chiefs last week, but we didn't have the show. So yeah.
I know, but the reason why you beat the Chiefs was because y'all were fresh, because y'all ain't played nobody in damn a month. I mean, who'd you play?
He had 15 minutes to talk about.
Who were those wins, Travis? Who were those 5 wins y'all had?
Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
Chiefs. Cleveland. And somebody else.
Somebody else terrible. So like you said, the only team you played worth the shit was Mahomes and them. So yeah, y'all all fresh and stuff because you ain't played no damn body. And that's all that was. So y'all keep on tooting that horn.
Tennessee.
Yeah, oh, that was a big win right there. Yeah. Exactly. Irv, that's your boy, Irv.
On the road.
That's your boy.
Y'all knew him first.
Wow. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. We'll holler at y'all next week.
Yep. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night, Miss Francis.
Straight from the hip.
See you.